Welcome to the Shift Training Podcast, where we are focused on improving the quality of human interaction. Our current thesis is as we grow and as we better connect with ourselves, this enables us to better grow with and connect with other people. And this, as we know, relationships are a key part of life, right? So this is going to help improve our quality of life just by getting better at how we connect with others and interact and treat each other, right? So we've got 3 topics that we're going to be covering today. Just as a quick refresher, I'm your host. My name is Law.
My name is Vaughn. I'll be your co-host.
And we're going to get started with our 3 topics for today. So Vaughn, what do we got first?
All right, so the first topic that we're going to be talking about is we attract what embody. So stop chasing and start aligning.
Okay, cool. So we attract what we embody. Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. So let's talk about that in the context of how we interact with other people, right? For some people, they think that's kind of like I become something and resonate, and then it comes to me. I would say that's not maybe the right idea per se. I mean, it is part of it, but it's kind of like what you invest energy, what you become is what you'll get more of. So the way that I see this in terms of interacting with others is the difference between quote unquote chasing, which is like when I think of chasing, I think of external validation. So the pursuit of external validation is like showing up to a potluck or Friendsgiving, some kind of thing like that, and you show up every year, but you show up every year waiting for someone else to give you the thing that you want the most, and you show up empty-handed every year. That's how I think of that. I think of it kind of like that, where you're always expecting someone else to feed you, but you never take the time to prep a dish for yourself.
Yeah, I think you have to come in there with the intention of you're here to serve and give, not just, for yourself.
Right. I think something that I learned a long time ago was like the tree you want to eat from, you sow the seed in your own life, right? So like if you're looking for love, they'll say, become, embody, act in love, show other people love. Whatever kind of seed that you need to sow it into your life first. So that way you can share that with others. And all of a sudden you'll start to see how much more of that is present in your life, and you'll attract more of it, is the idea or notion. But I think when it comes to people, I think we can all kind of feel like when you are wanting something and chasing something, but it doesn't really seem to fit the rest of who you are or your profile or your personality, right? It's kind of awkward. Like someone who wants to fit in someplace or be accepted in some way, but genuinely doesn't belong there, and it's obvious. It always feels kind of awkward.
Right. It feels like you're out of place.
Right. And then when you feel that, maybe other people feel that, and then maybe you feel that, so everyone's just kind of like,
All right, we both are not supposed to.
And I don't think that does us any favors for connecting, right?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. What do you think most people should, do then in terms of like not having that type of energy?
I think that one of the things that served me the most in regards to that, I think the biggest countermeasure to like external validation is seeking your own approval. Like I want to be quote unquote proud of myself, or like the idea of the most important thing is that when I look at myself in the mirror, that I'm able to say something good and I genuinely mean it and feel it. Right? And if you keep waiting for someone else to tell you that all the time, if that's like your number one focus or priority, you need to bring that down and put your opinion of yourself and how you want to show up a little bit higher. I think that makes it easy to kind of counterbalance against the external validation. It won't give you the knowing how to start cultivating what you want in your life, but it'll at least put it in your mind that I have to be pleased with this, and what would it take for me to be pleased with it that I can do or have to generate. And I think that would lead you a step closer towards I will start to create or become what I want to see in the world.
I think that the way I'm picturing this is like if somebody who is not used to with internal validation, I think a good practice is wake up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror, and talk something that will help you validate yourself instead of asking for people's validation, like maybe your partner, your family, friends. Start from yourself first. Start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and that will accumulate as you keep doing it.
Yeah, I think that's a great practice. Shout out to Mel Robbins for the high five habit and similar practices, right? So yeah, I think that's one thing. Again, how this relates to human interaction is if you're unable to authentically show up in a way where, again, back to the potluck thing, if you are not able to show up and ready to be generous and contribute to the atmosphere that you are participating in, eventually everyone will notice it. Eventually it's going to be harder for you to connect with other people. Eventually you might start to even alienate yourself or be alienated. There's so many areas where this relates to how we interact with people. And I think the remedy for that is you want to put yourself in a position to where you can show up to the best way you possibly can and ready and able to serve or edify others as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that when a person, like let's say in the potluck, is just there to take instead of a give, you know. So that's very evident when your intention is not in the right place.
Yeah, every once in a while that might be okay. You know, somebody has a need, okay.
Yeah.
But if it's all the time, people start to look at you like, start to look at you a little funny, you know,
Right.
and that's not going to do you no favors.
For sure.
Yeah. So what do we got up next?
All right. So the second topic that we got is the expectation of perfection is disruptive to our connection with others.
That's a good one. That's a good one, especially in like, you know, the quote unquote romantic relationships or anything.
Yeah.
By the way, relationships, if you ever hear me say relationships, I just mean relationships in general. Relationship, in short, is how we relate to one another. So whether that's the relationship with your mom, your dad, your siblings, or whoever, your friends. If I'm specifying a type of category, it's to give you a specific example. But other than that, they're all relationships, they're all connections. So you might hear me say those words interchangeably. I think for every relationship that we ever have, there's always going to be some give and take. There's always going to be some compromise. You want to look for the most win-wins you possibly can.
Right.
But the idea that everything's going to go exactly your way is laughable because that's not how life works.
Right. And I think if you seek for that similarity or perfection of like you need to find somebody that is the same thing as you, I think that's pretty boring, right? I think what life makes it fun is because of the indifference of your relationship with your friends, family, and significant others.
Yeah, I think also like another thing is understanding that short-term discomfort is short-term discomfort. Sometimes we think that it's going to be that way forever. I think that understanding that life is long and is short at the same time, and realizing like, man, you're not going to have it be perfect every time you talk with somebody, and it's not going to be perfect every time you hang out with somebody.
Yeah.
And like, even if it's like, oh, this feels good, AKA equates to this is perfect for me, you know, you find out 6 weeks later or 6 months later that maybe it's not perfect for you anymore. And then even in some of those cases, sometimes we might blame the other person and fail to realize that we as people, you know, we change, we adapt. So the whole principle of like hedonic adaptation or needing a bigger hit of dopamine from the same thing and trying to escalate it, like all these little things, there's so many little things that play a factor, but I can tell you right now, there's too much information or science or even in your own life experience, if you just take a look, where it's not realistic or reasonable or fair in any way, shape, or form to have that expectation that, yeah, everything can be perfect if we just do this, if I just do that, if we just make this change, if I just make that change, if they just make this change. You need to accept the imperfections. It's like the idea of accepting someone else's otherness is the key for you guys being able to actually relate and feel safe and connect, or else you can't connect.
Right. And I think that as long as you know your values, what your, you know, what you follow within the realm of like, what you want, I think if it's far away from the values that you have from others, I think that's where the disconnect happens, and just about accepting that and finding ways to, you know, find a middle ground where you guys can connect.
Yeah, I think it's finding ways to still relate to one another, right?
Right.
So if you can still relate to one another and you can still connect, then you still have an opportunity to have some form of connection or relationship. But I think when not, sometimes when we're unable to accept that maybe those things don't align and that it's hard for us to relate and maybe it's hard for them to relate to us.
Yeah.
I think another challenge is thinking that that we have to do something about it where, I don't know, I think even this is kind of a pursuit of perfection where it's like not accepting the reality is that we don't really relate anymore. You know, people grow apart from each other,
Right.
People move in different directions, stuff happens like that, people change their minds, whatever goes on. But I think the idea that something has to be perfect for it to be valuable instead of realizing that there must have been value in it, even if it was short term. Maybe there's long term value. But somewhere in there must have been some value, or else
Right.
we might not have ever related or connected or communicated in the first place. I think honoring that, even in the short, even if it's not perfect, I think that's a beautiful thing.
I agree. I think that it doesn't have to be like forever, and sometimes, like I said, things just drift apart, and it's okay to grow apart if it doesn't make sense, and don't force it.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Cool. Anything else on that?
I think that's it.
All right, cool. Next one.
All right, so we got the third topic is connection is hard when our physical energy levels just aren't there.
Yeah. We talked about this in episode 1. If you didn't listen to episode 1, go back and listen to episode 1. This is only episode 2, so it's not very far back to go. But yeah, there's plenty of studies that make this very obvious. Your physical energy levels and mood are connected. Like, it's strongly correlated. That's why the whole thing of being hangry or like, oh, I'm just so tired or whatever it is, like you don't have the biological capacity, you don't have the physical energy, you don't have the resources. Your nervous system, your body's going to be like, hey dog, I can't do that right now. I don't have can't do it. Even if you're in a low energy state but calm and peaceful, you can be there, but you might also be more susceptible to an event popping up and not being able to deal with it just because you're already in a low energy state. So you can go from calm to I'm not very calm, but I still have low energy, and you're more likely to experience that when you have low energy. So taking care of your physical body, getting your physical energy levels up, which we know is nutrition, sleep. These are very big factors. Nutrition, sleep, exercise, nutrition, sleep. You want better energy. Those are the things.
Yeah, I think that those three fundamentals is what most people just need to hear over and over again. I think everyone already knows that. It's just a matter of fact of just doing it. And most people are just not disciplined enough yet to do it. I think sometimes you just need a reminder. Maybe you can put a note when you wake up. Eat, sleep, exercise.
Yeah, that's very important. I think also maybe just not having enough leverage, like not having a strong enough why to motivate yourself or move yourself, to make it critically important, to make it a priority, right? But I can tell you right now, your mood, how you feel when you interact with people and stuff like that is definitely related to your physical energy levels. There will be times where you're like, my day is going great, and then something pops onto your table and you have all this energy, and then all of a sudden, it becomes a big deal. Like maybe you're arguing about it, maybe you're resisting it, maybe it's creating tension for you in your body. It's draining your energy immediately. Energy's going bye-bye, just right then and there. This is the other side of that coin where it's like, it's important to practice emotional regulation when you have energy if you want to be able to better manage your energy. It's hard to practice emotional regulation when your energy is low. So the skill that would actually help you have more energy as well, you have to practice when you have the energy. It's like investing when you have money versus trying to invest when you don't have money. It doesn't make sense. It's not going to work as well, right?
Yeah.
So you can't wait until things are bad to practice emotional regulation. You need to practice it when things are good.
Yeah, I think that's a good analogy of like, if you don't have that capacity, it'll be even harder to practice that, becoming in a different mood, positive mood. And I think that money analogy is a perfect way to put it.
Yeah, energy is like currency, man. It's the currency, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the benefits of connecting is the exchange of energy, potentially synergy. Could be diffusion.
Yeah.
Scary. Yeah. So with that in mind, actually, we're allowed to announce we are officially promotional partners with Phorm. This is one of our favorite supplement brands, period. Supplement, fitness, lifestyle. We've been rocking with them for years, so it's really dope. So we're proud to be promotional partners. So you will be hearing about Phorm. We will have a link in the description. We will be promoting their products. But honestly, if you have any questions about anything, just hit us up. If there's anything in particular you want to know, or if you're looking for specific recommendations, again, we work with different people, and one of our services is fitness training. So we do that. We do a lot of mental, emotional type work as well, but physical training is a big part of it because we understand the relationship with being able to navigate things with others is how well you take care of yourself and how you feel physically in your body.
Yeah, exactly. They're all connected here. And the supplements that they have is not only going to nourish your body, they also taste good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Best tasting flavors for sure. So that's one of the reasons why we love them. It's like you get the result and it tastes great. There's it's a win-win, right? That's what everybody wants when they want their supplements. Does it taste good? Does it work? And yes, so we could talk about those for sure.
Exactly.
Was there anything else that we wanted to talk about, touch base today?
I think that's it. We touched on the 3 key points for today. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys for listening to the Shift Training Podcast. Again, our focus is how we positively impact the quality of human interaction. And we'd appreciate a like, a share, a follow, a review, a rating, anywhere where you see this, anywhere where you can give us feedback, anywhere where you can comment, participate, or share with somebody else who might need it. We greatly appreciate it. That helps us improve. It'll help us to grow the channel, and then we can reach more people. And maybe together as a group, like we said, we want to take your questions. We want to talk about things you're interested in. We want to have guests on here. Well, you'll help us to do that so we can all figure out together how we can improve the quality of human interaction. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.